So you've got a weak point of mine.
Is that the fear of falling back?
Life is of making mistakes and learning from them. We used to meet regularly. We used to go out, clubbing, for movies,
Just
parties.
friends.
Just friends.
Okay. Friend zoned.
Friends. Food is more important than the taste.
May I say, today we have one of the most stylish men in Mumbai, a fitness icon, a business tycoon, and whatnot. We have with us Mr. Yash Birla. Mr. Yash Birla, welcome to Midday Straight Talk. And of course, my first question to you is, you juggle between so many things. How are you able to actually manage?
The human mind is capable of much more than we think. Right? We ourselves put ourselves into compartments. I don't have time to do this. How do I do that? How do I find time to go out? How do I find time to work out? How do I find time to do X, Y, Z? I'm working whole day. I appreciate there are limitations, but everything can be worked around the limitation if the willpower is there. So if I have the willpower to do these things that they're important in my life. First of all, I need to know what is important in my life, right? So if you say workout, why is workout important for me? Because not only do I like to look good, yes, have a good physique as best as I can make it, but also it helps me feel better. So if I'm stressed, if I am feeling lethargic, it immediately changes my whole being, my whole mood. So it makes me feel better. Scientifically, every doctor will tell you, for every ailment under the sun, the first way to start a regeneration of any ailment is to work out. Now that workout could be weight training, it could be yoga, it could be running, it could be a combination, which I feel is the best of all these things. How important it is to you. So if you feel it is important because of the reasons why I said, makes you look, feel, be more better, makes you healthier, makes you more alert, makes you more focused, makes you have confidence in your willpower. Yeah, because a lot of time we feel we can't do this. So we know when we can work out regularly, we know we can do things which we really want to do. So it has so many benefits. If you don't realize the importance of all this, first of all, understand the importance. When we believe in the importance, automatically the mind will create time from your schedule, from your day to day working, whatever you're doing, it will somehow manage to find time to do this. It will by itself come. Now, at that time, also to act on it. So I have time. Now I'll go onto the phone, I'll look at some Instagram, explore, I'll look at some news. Fine. Do it all. Do it on a treadmill. Instead of sitting at home, do it on a treadmill. You can get the news on the screen over there. Treadmills have the TV. You can not explore so much on Instagram and go and push some weights instead, because that's when you need focus. Instead of whiling away time, which we should do, everything recreation is also good, but in limitation. The other part of that time should be used constructively into whatever our priorities are, whatever you think is important. Right?
This really brings me to the question, what is most important to you in your life? Something you would really never trade off.
Nice question, and sometimes difficult to put it chronologically. But if I had to choose number one, it would be my spiritual practices. So I would, because my spirituality is an essence of everything I do. It's like the foundation. So my meditation, which I meditate twice a day, and I follow Art of Living Sudarshan Kriya, which I told you last time about. And sometimes I like to read knowledge in books, into our scriptures. Because knowledge is also required besides just going into a state of non-thinking, zero mind, what we call shunya mind with meditation. So I do these three, whatever I find time for out of these three, but some part of these three are absolutely essential. And believe me when I tell you this, that for some reason, if I've not done either of these three for, let's say, even as short as 2 or 3 days, there is a vacuum you start feeling. Your mind starts thinking differently. Not something which you will be able to understand as an external person, but I can feel it. So for me, number one is my spiritual practices. There's no question about it. Now, I'm not going to say the regular things as you have to spend time with your family, which you all do from a heart. I cannot do without spending time with my daughter, my family, my wife, whatever. That's part of your being. That's like you. It's not taking away from you. But besides that, yes, your work, your dharma is your work. We come into this world with something to do. It could be business, it could be an artist creating art. But whatever your work is, you have to prioritize that for sure. So that comes maybe next.
Right.
Fitness is also for me probably parallel to maybe work, because for me work and fitness can both be managed as well together as consistently. So and it just complements each other to me. Fitness definitely complements my work as far as I can feel it. These would be in that order.
You just spoke about how spirituality is really important to you. Now you meet so many people, across your life. It's so widened up. How do you maintain your spiritual hygiene? Because the amount of energies, the amount of thoughts you are exchanging with so many people across so many areas of life, be it business or be it as simple as meeting people in the gym. How do you maintain your balance in your society as such?
Okay, so I'll go a little deeper into your question. As you know, we and you estimated we'll go beyond our time, what we've set for this interview. First of all, when does your energy level come down with a person, or your spiritual resonance deplete? When you start criticizing, when you start judging, when you start putting compartments of good and bad. Yes, there are certain things you need to stay away from it. But in every human being, and this is written, I was reading the Bhagavad Puran yesterday. So Shiva's first wife Sati says this to a father who had insulted her husband, saying the normal man is who finds bad in most people. The better man than him is person who finds good and bad in everybody. But the even better man is who takes only the good points of a human being, and in that good point, he forgets to even evaluate the bad points, right? So the point is, when I see goodness in everybody here, whatever the good points is, where is the question of depleting my energy? My energy gets depleted only when I start judging and I start criticizing, right? If I see goodness in everybody I associate with, if a person's at the gym, okay, maybe talking brashly, but he's still coming there with effort to lift his weights, he's still being consistent, he still may have some good qualities. So why don't I focus on that? Then it doesn't deplete my energy. On the other side, let's say if it does, for some reason it does, because they say even things like in our scriptures, it's written the type of food you eat sometimes affects your energy. Then you again go back to your healing, which is meditation, prayer, sadhana, satsang, reading, knowledge, and then you get completely wiped off all that, whatever's gone on, which you perceive as negative. It just goes.
Very deeply spiritual indeed, Mr. Birla. And I'm really curious, from where do you get your root of spirituality?
Spirituality is not something which you can get. It happens. I don't believe that this is our only life. There's a life before this. Maybe there's a life after this. Again, I'll quote from the Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes your life ends without achieving what you want to achieve spiritually. So let's say you equate it to 10 steps. So you've climbed 5 steps, but 5 steps are still left, right? But in your next life, you will start from step number 5 and go to 10. So you will start off much higher than where a newcomer would start off. So saying that, spirituality came to me from very early age without really being inculcated or told to me. It was just there. So I feel it comes from what we call samskaras, from some last life or some predicament inside me which was there. What enhanced it greatly was my grandmother, my late grandmother. So what she was spiritual, of course. She was religious. She used to do her Sundarkand part every day, and she used to do Mala every day. Krishna devotee, Vallabhacharya's devotee. The thing which she did beautifully with me is that she every night used to tell me, read me stories, right? Not tell. Sometimes tell, but read stories. Most of the stories were mythological stories or stories with morals, all from Indian culture. So she never read me in Enid Blyton, which I read on my own, but she would read me things from Indian culture. I mean, even it's a Panchatantra, it always shows you something. And like I just talked to you about Shiva and Sati. So all these were read to me. So she encouraged my, or kind of was a catalyst in my spiritual progress to a great extent. Also, I used to read Amar Chitra Katha. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
So all those Amar Chitra Katha I've read like 10 times. So that also has mythology leads to spirituality.
Right.
Because what is mythology is what the gods are trying to teach through stories about yourself. That also was a catalyst, reading good things. At that young age, you don't read Upanishads, though I did start at about 16. But this Amma Chitra Katha started from as early as 7 or 8. So I got a lot of spiritual knowledge then. Also going to temples, which at that time was okay, I'm just going. My grandmother wants me to go, my mother wants me to go. I've gone to Kedarnath when I was probably 12, something. But then when you look at it retrospectively, there was a resonance from there which I carried back within me, myself, which I can still remember. So if I shut my eyes and think of the first time I went to Kedarnath with my mother, I get that same feeling what must have got as a child then there. So these are all catalysts in life for spirituality. But spirituality is in you, it's in everybody. The opportunity to also pursue it further will come in everybody's life. Everybody here. It's for you to be intuitive enough to understand, to take it, and to follow it.
Is there any deep pain in your heart that your spirituality has actually, anchored you out of it, helped you, heal you?
Every human life has pain and pleasure. There's no doubt. Nobody can say that we've gone through no turmoils in life. Of course, some people are more known, more pronounced, but relatively everybody feels pain the same way. You can have a stomachache and feel as tortured as something like, which I will tell you what I've been through to your question directly, is that basically I lost my parents and family at a very young age. I was only 22 in a plane crash, and it was all of a sudden. It was like one fine day you woke up and you had a lovely, beautiful family who was very caring and loving and protective about you. And then you just suddenly said that there's nobody there. There's nobody to look over you. There's nobody to... I was not married then, of course. There's nobody to care for you. There's nobody to love you. So you're just alone in the world. Now, at that time when you feel so alone in the world, as I told you, I started scriptural knowledge and stories of spirituality from the age of 8. That's what helped me overcome it. Otherwise, I would have probably felt lonely, which may have had effects on my psychology, on my mind, on habits. I may have indulged in something which are not too good for my nature. But I didn't deter from my path even for a day. So a lot of people feel when you have a catastrophe like this, you lose faith in God.
It shakes your faith.
Why did God do this to you?
Yes.
But that also didn't happen even for a day. In fact, I connected with the divine and my parents in the form of divinity even more. So that was a major incident, which I mean, the impact never goes. I can still feel it, and it still gets some amount of intensity in my emotions whenever I think of that. But so it's a strange thing. That incident also teaches you more detachment. So in a second, life is gone. They were young, they were not old, my parents. So it's gone. Me, you, anybody here, we don't know how long life is. So what is the purpose of what we are thinking day to day? What is the purpose of what we are worrying day to day? Yes, we have to live our lives, but one fine day it's all gone. Then what remains is the spirit, is the continuity of the Atma, what we call Satchidananda, to achieve that blissful state in this life, which is the only thing that continues after. So that incident gives me a closer look at spirituality, about detachment, about getting away from the mundane, which sometimes I get caught up in it. Regular day-to-day things, get irritated, get worried, feel sad. It happens. But then at the back, there's something which tells you, this is all temporary. There's something beyond and higher.
At the nascent age of 23, you had to take the reins of the business. How did that unfold for you when you were really not, maybe perhaps very prepared?
Yeah, so I was doing my MBA in the United States at that time when this happened. I used to go as a teenager in family, the Birla family cultures, even as a teenager after school or college, you're supposed to go and sit at the office, even if you're doing nothing, just to watch. So I used to sit with my father, or he used to put me in with some managers to learn certain things, accounting, things like that. So it's not that I was totally new. I had some experience. But yes, from a point of view of leading an organization, like my father did, it was practically nothing. And it was very difficult. It was very disorienting because I was a student, I loved studying, I wanted to study more. It all just came to a halt because there was no time. And how to put everything together and let it stand on its own feet till you learn to take the reins gets very difficult. But fortunately for us in our Indian family culture, I had an extended Birla family who were very helpful to me. They guided me and inspired me. Mr. Aditya Birla, Mrs. MP Birla, who passed away, they all helped me a lot at that time. Even my father's very good friend, like late Mr. Rahul Bajaj, he actually came and took some positions in my company just to be there to support me. So, with God's grace, there were a lot of people who assisted me, but at the same time, till you do your own things, till you take your own problems, it doesn't really. It's still very unsettling. So that feeling remained for a while. That I don't know what to do at certain times. I don't know who to ask.
For a newbie to kind of start something from scratch, what they are actually not expecting to do, it can be a bit challenging. Also, when you're dealing with so many people, it can be tough to actually trust. Understanding who is actually, my trust circle. How did you actually navigate through it? Because I'm sure things can get pretty complicated. You, a young Birla who has just entered somewhere, you are really not prepared.
So you've got a weak point of mine as far as business is concerned. I trust everybody. For me, that trust lacking, of course, I have to use my intelligence and discretion, and I do that. But as I said, I see a goodness in every human being. So in that way, what that person says, to some extent, I do believe it. I won't do it if it's not good for what, according to my intelligence, for a company or for a business. But I do trust a lot. Maybe this also happened as now you're speaking. At that time, I had nobody to trust. So I was trusting anybody who offered me advice. And that continues even till date. I trust a lot. I do think sometimes it's not right to trust a lot of people because it's guilty till you're proved innocent. It's a very famous saying. And business sometimes is necessary. But your basic personality you can't change.
Yeah.
Did make mistakes trusting some people or some advices which I shouldn't have. But then again, life is of making mistakes and learning from them.
Absolutely.
And at least not trust the same concepts again. Forget blaming it on people. Don't trust the same concepts and be more alert. Trust is, you have to sometimes use your intuition also, which comes with age, time, meditation.
Very
Your
true.
intuition improves.
Very true.
That you just know there are certain things you can trust and certain things you just stay away from. So that has definitely become better, more evolved. I basically, at the time when I joined, I was a very shy person. So I used to hardly talk. Like I'm talking so much, you've seen me.
And look at you now.
Yeah, so I was very, very shy. So when they first, my family told me when my parents passed away, like on the, obviously for 12 days you're not allowed to attend office till all the ceremonies go on, religious ceremonies. But they said you must call all the executives at your house and address them and give them the confidence that, you're there. Father's gone away, it's destabilizing for everybody. So on maybe the third day after they passed away, fourth day, I had like 25 people in front of me where I had to address them. And again, as I told you, I speak less, I was shy. So I found it difficult, but somehow the energy just came. It may be my parents' blessing, it may be something divine. I just spoke. And from then I've been speaking. I've gotten over my shyness.
Wow.
I speak a lot. Of course, it kept progressing. So, for instance, when I went to my MBA school, they had a thing like where you had to do a public speech, and you had to talk about a project, about a business venture, and talk about it in front of many people. I like 3 times in the conversation, I just forgot what I had to say because I was so nervous, of talking.
Right.
But with that incident and with this first meeting, it just went away. I have no inhibitions in talking in front of as many people or to whoever. Another addition to that is you speak from your heart. If you speak true as you can be, then what is the inhibition to talk? You talk your mind out.
So, was it speaking from your heart, the way how you actually kind of impressed your wife? How did you guys meet? I'm pretty curious to know.
So we met way before this incident in college. I was studying in Sydenham, and she was in Jai Hind. So I've known my wife since I was 15. So it's like one of those teenage romances. And so before we actually started dating, it was almost 3-4 years of just friends, like very good friends. We used to meet regularly. We used to go out clubbing for movies,
Just
parties.
friends.
Just friends.
Okay. Friend zoned.
Friends. So that's how it started. Then it, of course, evolved into a relationship because I realized that there was something more than friendship which I was looking for.
Right.
And so it's something from 16 to now. So it's,
Wow.
yeah, it's a long story.
Wow. So, what really, keeps your marriage strong? How do you keep it going? In times when it's very easy to actually, kind of go for multiple marriages or maybe stay single.
Wow, it's a nice question you're having. Is it good for this part of our fitness or whatever sections we are doing? I would love to answer it.
Absolutely.
A is I feel, because I don't want to sound like I'm talking out of turn on marriages as an expert or anything. I'm just giving my opinion. Is that you need commitment, right?
Yes.
If you don't have commitment that things have to work, because that's why your commitment is. It's very easy nowadays on impulses to break up marriages. Okay, now this is not my way. It goes. Let's walk out. So you need commitment. The generation is changing. They don't believe in it. I would advise everybody, once you think and you make a commitment, fight till the end, till you cannot. Second thing is, after you have children, the commitment should become more. Because unless there's something drastic, a lot of the children's happiness depends on parents being together, happily coexisting. And you need to sacrifice. Whatever your personal anxieties or problems may be, you need to overcome them for your children, who you love more than anyone in the world. Third is, which with time happens when we are young, you're a little more self-centered, a little more demanding. Happened to all of us, including me, with expectations about what ideal relationship should be and what should be given and taken in relationships. You have to get beyond that, because as I said, every person has its own goodness and uniqueness. In our wanting the person to do what we want to do, we are forgetting what the person is good for, right? So each partner has its own goodness. Let us appreciate what the person is good for instead of finding what we feel the person is not good for,
Right.
our
Okay.
partner.
Let me take this moment to ask you this question. What do you love in her? What still impresses you about her?
I don't know if she'll be happy to hear me talking about these things. It's pretty personal. I don't know. I always believe in being frank. So she is a very pure-hearted, simple, honest person. And that's one of the reasons why my friendship turned into a relationship. I always wanted somebody who is not affected by the world around, by affluence,
Yes.
by materialism, who can be in materialistic environments, but the heart is pure and clean and basic and honest and simple, not aspiring to be something which is not there, and doing things which make you get there at any cost. The two ways of looking at life. So there are a lot of people who have a lot of goals, and good luck to them, and they have to achieve it at all costs. But I prefer somebody who's what they are, and what they are they project, and who's happy in whatever state you are. And that state, if it's simplicity, for me it's a God's gift. That you're happy to be in a simple environment, you're true to the heart, then only you can exist in pure love. Because love comes from truth and simplicity. If you always have an agenda for something beyond, then that love will never be pure. So for me, that pure love is something Again, pure love goes to the what we call divine love, spiritual love. So then it goes beyond the mundane. It goes to a very lovely state where you just feel only love.
How beautiful is this,
Yeah.
Mr. Birla? You just spoke about divine love, and I really want to hop on to divine friendships from here. When you belong to an affluent family, there'll be a lot of people, who would want to tag with you, who would love to be friends with you. How do you maintain that sanctity of pure friendships around you?
So what are you giving if the person is got is friendship is what? Friendship, I'm your friend. I'm talking to you, right? Why do I need to judge whether you're talking to me just for the interview or actually finding my conversation interesting? Why should I think whether you're smiling and appearing interested for the camera or you're actually interested? For me, I accept it. That you're, as of now, I'm here and you're actually liking talking to me. So again, if somebody's talking to me, I don't need to judge. I don't need to say, oh, the person's talking to me for some other reason. But what am I losing by believing that? Nothing. Because I'm neither giving you anything, neither you taking anything. So I'm happy to talk with you, believing that you just are happy talking to me. That's the same with all my friendships. I make friends very easily because there's no give and take. I don't believe in give and take.
But I'm sure there would be certain people in your trust circle whom you can just trust blindly and they won't ever break your trust.
Of course, 100%. I have friends who are very close to my heart, who've been there from decades, and they're always well wishers. Any point of time, I have any thoughts which are troubling me, I can talk to them. That's a different bracket. You have one or two people like this, also you're blessed in life.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about that, is beyond friendship. That is something which is
A soul
again a
connection,
soul
perhaps.
connection. You don't have to have a soul connection only with your spouse. You can have a
Right.
soul connect with a lot of people,
Yes.
right? And there are few. And if you have few, that's great. But that doesn't mean you have friends who are not soul connects. You have many friends. So that's how I look at it.
You have had a very, very close bond with your grandmother, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything, or rather, I would say, what all do you miss? Maybe how she fed you, maybe what she fed you. Do you miss the food, those moments? We would really like to know about it.
Yeah, you're very correct. So I miss my grandmother a lot, actually. I was not able to get over her passing. I'm basically a very emotionally attached person. So my grandmother passed away, I was devastated because she was, I don't know whether looking at it in retrospect, everything was good or not good for a growing child because she was overindulgent. Anything, and we never had a very materially indulgent childhood. It was very basic. I used to hardly go abroad for holidays. I used to go to Nasik with my grandmother, live in simplicity, go to temples, whatever. It was not indulgent in the material way. But if I wanted something to eat, she would leave everything she's doing to come and cook it for me. It's like that. Or if I wanted a friend to come over and the friend is not coming, she would say, okay, let me try and convince the mother of that friend to send a friend over. So it was a very supportive, where you don't let a child fall and you're always there to form like a padding from a fall. So my grandmother was like that. She was single. Her husband had passed away. So her whole center of attention was me and my sisters to some extent, but mostly me.
Were you a spoiled child?
No, so not. I was spoiled from the point of view that things like food, like you said, a very interesting food. So she used to feed me till the age of 7 or 8. So my mother said that's not good. You have to stop feeding an older child.
How sweet.
Yeah, but she used to force feed me. So like I remember as a child, when you're 5 or 6, if I didn't have milk, which I was supposed to have, that time you have to have milk. So I would keep running around and she'd keep running behind me with the glass. She used to go from one room, I used to go to the other room, she used to follow me there.
Yeah.
Till I finished the milk. So it was as being spoiled in that nature. But otherwise I was spoiled children are people who throw tantrums or who demand things or objects. I was never like that. I was never really a demanding child. I was very happy with whatever was given to me. But from habits like feeding and eating, these kind of maternal, emotional things, yes, you can say that.
When it comes to food, what do you like? What do you really miss?
From my grandmother.
From your grandmother.
So something which I have till date, it's a Marwadi sweet called Sattu. Sattu Bihar is different. This is what we have. Like they have Kadwa Chauth. Marwadi they have Tej. So they make these chawal and chane ka sattus. What is this purely? Let's say chana, ghee and sugar. All sugar is very bad for my
Yeah,
fitness.
yeah.
But
But that's okay if the grandmother feeds you with
grandmother. So she used to make this. It used to be mostly in my my lunch. You have that break box for school. She used to make this sattu, and about 5 days of the week, 3 days was a sattu. So it was this round thing with that chandika barak, like a mithai.
Yeah.
And I used to eat it. And she used to make it specially in the kitchen. She used to
Roll it.
allow it in the hand and then mold it and keep it. And then main thing which I have even today, when I'm wanting to have a cheat meal from my weight training and strict health diet, I have called for that sattu and I have it. And my whole connection is emotional with her.
Yeah.
And of course the taste, which was delicious and I still love it, but it gets back into time zone with her.
How beautiful is the fact that food kind of becomes the bridge which connects us to people gone by, to memories gone by. Talking about food, and you just spoke that sattu is your cheat meal. How is your food ideology like? Because I'm sure maintaining this body would take some really strict diet regime. How is it for you?
So first, my thing, I'm a strict vegetarian. I don't have even eggs, right? And I really believe in it that you can have the best body, much better than mine also, being a pure vegetarian. So that I much emphasize that you should have a vegetarian food. Now, why I say vegetarian? We're going a little bit into philosophy, but we have Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic. There are 3 categories of actions and thoughts. So Sattvic thoughts are basically the thoughts of pure compassion, love, generosity. Rajasic are some things of ambition, materialism, whatever. And then there's tamasic, which are the worst. There's negative, jealousy,
Dark.
hatred, whatever. So now all these foods are categorized also into this. So our brain cells obviously are kept alive by food. So the type of food we eat, we are what we eat. You've heard that. So the type of food you eat should, as far as possible, be sattvic. So it will give you good thoughts, positive thoughts. So what is sattvic food? Pure food, vegetarian food, non-processed, vegetables, whether you cook in a sabji in the purest form without too much oil, masala, whatever, fruits, some of them, as long as they're not too high in sugar, whole grains to some extent, which is apna chawal, dal, whatever. So for me, of course, since I'm on weight training, carbohydrates supposed to be less. So I have a lot of milk products, which suits me. I'm not milk intolerant. So I have cottage cheese, paneer, skim milk. I have yogurt, again, Greek yogurt, which is high protein. Then I have nuts and seeds. And then I have legumes, which is dals and all that, soy, tofu. I have whey protein shake, of course, which is made out of milk. So I get enough protein from all this. But for somebody who's not weight training as much as me, there's so much in the sattvic food category, which is so beautiful and so tasty. So I love sattvic food. For me, the philosophy of food is more important than the taste. So if you tell me, like I have every day a beetroot and Beetroot and celery juice every day. Now, it may not taste the best, but for me, because it's got certain health benefits which I've studied, I love the taste. I actually relish it. I have it sip by sip and relish it. So it becomes something which you believe in. Your taste starts liking it. It's all how your mind is trained and how your senses ultimately follow.
Right. So, what are the menu or which is always on the highlight when it comes to your diet? Things which you love repeating, you won't mind repeating, but you think it's really good for my body, and I have to feed to my body each day.
So, as milk products, anything to do with milk, which is skim milk. Paneer, I eat a lot of paneer. Cottage cheese, chena, whatever you want to call it. Paneer burji you can make. Yogurt, I love yogurt. Yogurt is like from childhood. I've had a It's like a delicacy for me. I love yogurt. And natural yogurt, not even flavored yogurt, the natural dahi ka
Not the
taste.
sweetened one or the
No, I
salted
just
one.
love the natural dahi ka taste.
Okay.
So that's a must for me. I love dal chawal, but
With,
that
with
I'd
lots
limit.
of ghee or
No,
without?
little bit.
Okay,
Little bit
Sam
is
said.
important, but not lots.
Yeah.
And I have dal chawal. I fast every Monday. So when I fast, then I give a little bit more indulgence to carbohydrates and also I have heap of dal chawal that day in the night. I have one meal.
Yeah.
So I love dal chawal. It's the most delicious meal you can have. It's proper, and actually it's a proper. If you can have carbohydrates, it's a complete amino acid profile. So it's a complete protein also. So it actually nourishes your body.
Right. You live a pretty disciplined life, right? You just said that even if it's tasteless, you would have something because it's good for your body. What really motivates you to keep on pushing harder? Because there's always something we really look forward to in life, right? Okay, fine. There I have this goal and I'm going to achieve it. What is your goal in life?
So one goal is never to deteriorate, right? If you achieve some level, the moment you feel you're deteriorating, which may be because of whatever, any circumstances, whatever, I can't accept it. If I've achieved a level, I will not accept unless God forbid something which I can't help. I don't accept
The
a
downfall.
downhill.
Is that the fear of falling back?
No, I just feel it should never be I have been or this was better. As far as you can, keep it as good as you will. So that concept kind of makes your mind very disciplined. I don't do things which will make me go down. I think you're talking in the area of fitness, right?
Yes.
So I would keep training. I would keep eating pure food because I would never like to say, "Oh I used to look my physique was way better 5 years ago."
Right. When it comes to your work and business, any tips or any advice you have, for the people out there on how to really kind of navigate when it comes to being an entrepreneur? What are some of the learnings you have learned your way? Maybe things you could have done in a much better way, and maybe you would like to advise it to people.
Of course, one is to be decisive, right? After proper evaluation of whatever experiences are and whatever you know, there are two options. Your mind will always say this option, that option, which you should evaluate. Once you decide, then go for it, right? What happens sometimes we have two choices and we make an option, we go for it, then suddenly we think, no, that is better. So let's try and do something over there. That's not good. Decide, once you make a decision, stick with it. That's entrepreneurship, to make a decision. Why are you leader? Because you can make a decision. Decisions can get wrong. Everybody makes mistakes. Learn from it. What are your mistakes? Why did you make it? What did you think? Human mind is always try and blame somebody for your mistakes. Accept it, that even you are part of the mistake, right? If you keep blaming, then you're not going to learn.
Right.
Somebody else did it. But what were you doing? You also didn't do something. You didn't do something which you should have done. Didn't look at it as closely as you should have looked at. So then start correcting it. Next time, don't make those mistakes. Next time, those situations, don't follow the same pattern. Change it. And what has succeeded, learn from it. In what environments, what concepts it succeed with. When those concepts not exactly the same, but like this in a similar way come to you, then you know how to decide. Experience. That's why this experience is very, very important in good business management. For the third is what I say, that the trust angle you talked about earlier. Yes, you shouldn't trust everybody in business. You should use discretion. Maybe you should do reference checks. Suppose I'm hiring somebody, that person may have been employed 2 or 3 times before. Always do a reference check. Always talk to them personally if you can, or your HR can talk to them. So reference check is important because you understand what the person's about. The person may say anything in an interview, make you feel wow, but let's see what they did. So these are a couple of things which I think are important.
How do you deal with risk? They say there needs to be, you need to have a heart to be an entrepreneur, and maybe a tiger's heart at that, because you have to deal with a lot of risk. How do you deal with it?
So, of course, to be an entrepreneur, a risk is there, but you have to plan it well, no? That whatever you may lose doesn't make you unsettled. So, let's say you have a portfolio of investment. You will invest some in shares, which can be risky. Some you will invest in blue chip companies, which are less risky. Some you will invest in mutual funds, which are even less riskier. And some you will invest in fixed deposits, which probably are as safe as it can be. You combine your risk-taking ability. Don't take risk in everything. Take risks in some areas where you have the ability to take it. And then if it goes down, that's the way it was meant to be. What can I learn from it? I'll see next time. But that's the way it was meant to be. It's gone. Like a lot of things in life. A lot of things in life besides business are also risky. You have to accept it. No?
Wow, this is truly a calming thought when it comes to accepting things, perhaps be it success or be it failure. Mr. Birla, now we have a fun rapid fire round with you. So, shall we get
Good.
started?
So I'll talk lesser. I'll only answer one line.
Yeah. If you could have any superpower, what would that be?
100% intuition, which is can never go wrong.
Being a clairvoyant?
Yeah, you can call it that.
Any weird habit that you have, what people don't know about?
I love to take out the rough edges of my skin near my nails. I love to fidget with it.
Oh.
So I love this rough part, and I love the feeling of it. It's very quirky and weird, but I do it. So I don't know if people know about it. But a lot of times I do this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this. I've been
Okay.
corrected also by my mother that just leave your hands, but I still got that habit.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Eating sugar, desserts, cakes, pastries, which I love. Of course, eggless. I don't have egg, but that I love them. Actually, relish. I can, have you heard of this? When you shut your eyes, you can enjoy the taste of things better because you're blocking your
Yes,
senses.
yes.
So sometimes for these sweets, what I do, I just shut my eyes and I just enjoy and relish it. It's a guilty pleasure, but
True sweet tooth, I would say.
yeah.
Okay. Your favorite cheat meal? I think maybe you all know
Sattu.
by now. Yeah.
Yes, but things similar. Sweets. I love sweets.
Okay. The most adventurous thing you have ever done?
I used to go trekking, but that was a very positive adventure. I used to go to spiritual places, which were risky, which had glaciers, which were 15,000 feet above sea level. But I used to go because I wanted to be in a spiritual environment. So that's an
Something-
adventure, but it's a risky adventure.
Something perhaps which still flashes before your mind when the word adventure comes before you.
I think that's adventurous because you just go into the wilderness and the mountains, the snow, and there's no real habitat next to you. You're just going, you're just leaving everything behind. So it's a great adventure.
Right. A spiritual adventure
Yeah,
as well.
for sure.
A book you can read again and again.
Bhagavad Gita, I'll give you lots. But actually more than that. It's called Yoga Vashishta. It's a discourse which is supposed to be between Vashishta Muni and Lord Ram. When Lord Ram was also in a despondent state, like Arjun was when Bhagavad Gita was given. And the whole, basically the science of creation, of human life, of human thought, of the mind is in this book. And it's like about 700 pages. But I've read it again and again and again. Every time I read it, I find something new.
Talking about Bhagavad Gita, what is your favorite takeaway, from the entire text?
Of course, a lot of people say karma, yoga, this, that, which is, of course, we all believe in. But ultimately, he says surrender. There are certain things you cannot help or do. And at that time, just surrender. So he gave in some other book, I think Lord Krishna gave this story that when the Draupadi was insulted while the game of dice was going on, she cried for help to all the elders, husbands, 5 husbands. They couldn't help her. Then she asked Dhritarashtra, Bhishma, Vidura, all of them were asked, well, please save me, see what these people are doing. Nothing could happen. Then she finally surrendered, oh Lord Krishna, which is divinity, Krishna, whatever you see it in, I surrender, please help me. And then came that sari, which wrapped itself around her. So, total surrender. I can't do anything. Now it's only you. So, where I apply this, it's not becoming rapid fire round, but where I
Yes.
apply this, there are certain things in your life you get very like that, agitated, stressed, don't know what to do. So, that's the time, leave it to him and the answer will come.
If I may ask you, what was the last thing, the latest thing you surrendered in your life?
It's very day to day. I can't like even day to day things at work or decisions, things may hassle you. Ultimately say, what do I do about this? I don't know what the solution is. And then you surrender and it comes.
An example?
So let's say sell this company, a unit, or to take it forward. Yeah. I don't know what to do because it has got a great potential. But at the same time, it doesn't look like it's doing well now. So should we sell it? No, the benefits of selling, at least you're axing the losses. But if you progress it, it's a great future. So what do I do? What do I do? This is good, that is good. Surrender. The answer will come somewhere.
What would you choose as a profession if you have to choose between being a fashion stylist or a fitness trainer?
Wow. You thought of it well. Fashion stylist.
Okay, I have not asked you this question. Where do you get this, your love for fashion? Who is your fashion icon, or you create your own trends? What is it all about, between fashion and Yash Birla?
I may sound narcissistic and may be criticized for what I'm saying, but I'm my own icon. So basically, I don't follow any trends. I don't study any magazines. I don't follow any whatever Instagram pages on designs. Yes, I do see some. I do get inspired sometimes by some things here and there which just come. But I am just very spontaneous and whatever I believe, I just do. So, and I really don't have any icon who I say, okay, this is exactly who I would all the time dress up as, because my dress sense is very varied. It's not typical.
No, that's very OG, you have a very distinctive taste of your own,
Yeah.
and proudly you stand by it. That's so wonderful. And what is your fitness secret, Mr. Yash Birla? Everyone wants to know that. With the strong body you carry, with the charisma you have, you look so fit. And you stand by your personality and your regime, and fitness is of course not only about being physically bulky or maybe looking physically fit, but you pretty have your thoughts sorted as well. So what is your fitness secret?
Consistency. I've been working out for more than 2 decades regularly. I think God's grace, I've not fallen ill so much or so often, and I hope, touch wood, it continues. That I've had to give up fitness even for more than 15 days. That also very rarely. So I've been at it since. So consistency is the main thing. What people do, they start going every day to the gym, 2 hours a day. Then they get exhausted. Then they say, we've gone for a holiday. Then they say, okay, we'll get back to it after a week when we come back. Then after a week, they say, no, we are getting back to it. We are going to do it. That's the worst. Do what you can do forever. When you do it once, think you will go without any external circumstance prohibiting you from doing so, you will do it till the last. That's what I advise for fitness. Second thing, which most people forget, is half your fitness is what you eat, right? So what you can go and work out as much as you want in the gym, but you come and eat all your pakoras and samosas every day, or whatever everybody eats, I don't know, which is processed, adulterated, fattening food. Then there's very little the gym can do. It will do. It will have its benefits, but you'll never get the magnificence of what effort you're putting into the gym. So food and consistency, and not letting yourself deteriorate with that concept in mind. That's what I believe.
That's really inspiring and motivational, for me, and I'm sure it would be for all the people out there. Thank you so much, Birla, for being on this Straight Talk, where you really spoke from your heart. So once again,
I did
big thank
actually.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.